we are going to do some solar return charts. I'm going to put on my rings because I just sat down. I got a sleep face. I slept and I slept and I slept and I slept and it felt so good. I had decided I was going to let myself sleep as long as I slept and not worry about it. And then the alarm went off for, hey, you got to go live stream. And I was like, oh, wow, I had totally expected to be awake for a while before that. Have you hugged yourself today? And even if you have, do it again because it feels good. Thank you, Mercury, for moving into Sagittarius. I know it's not your favorite place to be, but I needed you to get the hell out of Scorpio. Mercury and Mars in Scorpio together, trining my natal Mercury and Mars in Cancer together. Not cute. Get that shadow side. Be grounded. Welcome. Let's see who's here. We got some Jackie. We got some Holly. Holly, this one is for you. You suggested this, and I so appreciate you for doing so. And where did Holly suggest this? In our Chart Harmony Discord server. There is a link to join us in the description of this video. I hope you will not only subscribe and like and share and all those neat things that happen with the YouTube of it all, but also come on over to our Discord server and hang out with us, where we do things like say, I would love a webinar about solar return charts, to which I say, I don't even have to make you wait till a webinar. I need a live stream topic, and I think a live stream topic could be solar return charts. And then if we decide we want to do a whole webinar about it, we will. What's the difference between a webinar and a live stream topic in my world? Webinar, you got to register, you got to give me your email address, I got to make a workbook, I make slides, it's this whole thing. Live stream, we're just going to hang out on YouTube. And yeah, it's a little more casual, but I mean, you could probably take away as much from a live stream as you do from a webinar. I mean, you don't get a workbook. I do like making workbooks. I like making workbooks. I like making slides. There's just a different level of commitment also for wanting to watch it later, because live streams tend to not get watched all that much after they happen unless they go viral. Whereas webinars have a nice, long, healthy life over in the whatever catalog of instructional stuff that I have available for y'all. Either way, we're going to try it out. We're going to talk about solar return charts. What do you need? Your natal chart. Because we're going to take a look at what is the degree of the sun in your natal chart. Degree and minute. And I'm going to show you where to find that. And then we're going to take a look at, well, when will that same sun, asterisk, be in that same degree and minute each year? That is your solar return. When you see astrologers which wish each other happy birthday on like the socials, you'll see happy solar return, happy solar return, happy solar return. Why do we do that? Because the solar return is not the same as your birthday. Sometimes your solar return chart actually occurs a day before or a day after your birthday, because birthday is all about how human time works, and it's a date on a calendar. And solar return is planetary, again, asterisk, when the sun is back at the same degree and minute it was when you were born. The sun doesn't actually change degree and minute in like the way it works astronomically. We are all going around the sun, so it's technically the Earth puts the sun at a certain degree, but so we call it the season that the sun is in a certain sign, because relative from Earth, that's what it looks like. But, you know. All right. Cool. Hello, Vio. So glad. Good. I'm glad this is a question topic for you as well. I have a sleep mind, catching up and healing. I'm so glad. I'm sending you lots of healing vibes. Hope you are taking very good care of yourself. Opposing your Mars in Taurus. I'm sorry. This Scorpio Mars, I know it's not even done. This Scorpio Mars is not cute. This Scorpio Mars is spicy. and extra. And boy, with Mercury coming across and conjoining it was like everything I'm mad at, I need to say, and I need to say it right now. And then I need to feel all the Cancer, Mars, and Mercury conjunction in my natal chart for days and weeks after. And I need to feel butthurt about what I just did and what I just said and what is being done and what is being said. Whew, it was a lot. It was a lot. Welcome from Victoria. And I know Carla in Victoria, but from Victoria, because that is where you're saying hello from. I know we are going to go be neighbors soon. Not soon, but someday I'm going to come up there. Chart Harmony Discord is awesome. I agree. I think it's a great place. I really do appreciate you coming by and being there. And hey, Vio, you get to talk to me by sending me chats, texts, because I text with you, and everybody, you can text with me, or it's Robot Bonnie some of the time, and then some of the time it's actually me, and that is also in the description of today's video. But let's get on it. My husband is here. Hello, partner from Santa Monica, from the room over there. Hello from Arizona. Michelle, so good to see you always. Dani, hello. Extra Scorpio transits. Right. Yes, I appreciate the text too. Those are really fun. I enjoy doing those. Tell me if you can see my screen. I want to make sure that came across okay as I just did my little special effect there. This is the Woo of the Now. And the Woo of the Now says we got our moon in Aquarius. Thank God, y'all. I got the notification from my app that the moon moved into Aquarius, and I went, thank you. This was last night. I was like, finally, the moon is in a sign I like it to be in, and I can detach from all the emotion and all the perfectionism and all the like, ow, butt hurt that I've been feeling around moon shit. Woo! Moon in Aquarius, thank you. But also then that means like the thoughts never stop. But that's all right. I'm used to that. We have Neptune and Saturn back in Pisces, retrograding they asses off, finishing up the business of having been in Pisces for years. They're going to get that business taken care of. Here we are in the last quarter of 2025. We're going to get this business finished. We got Uranus retrograding back into Taurus, and soon to say we're going to finish this business. That is going to be a lot. Look for weather stuff, look for earthquake stuff, look for volcano stuff, a lot of, look at money stuff, property stuff, things that are like physical form, Taurus, getting all sorts of Uranus up. Uranus is, we're going to break it. Where am I not free? I don't know. Let's break it, and then we'll find out. Woo! And meanwhile, Jupiter hanging out here in Cancer saying, look, I am just going to give you all the irrational optimism in the world. If you would just tap into it, it feels really good. I recommend. Venus in Libra, yum. That feels so good. Sun in Scorpio, as we previously discussed, that's what we're dealing with right now with this Mars in Scorpio. Mars in Scorpio on its own, generally not a problem because Mars rules Scorpio, so they get along just great. But this Mercury having gone over Mars and trying to like climb over Mars, and Mercury moving real fast, but not quite so fast because getting ready to retrograde. We got just this, there's a whole bunch of spiciness that happened with that. And Mercury climbing over Mars says, I need to tell everybody all the feelings I'm having. And Mars says, your feelings are mad. Your feelings are really mad, like mad. And everybody needs to hear about it. And so then that happened. And then Mercury will get to a certain part in Sagittarius and then retrograde illusion back into Scorpio. That'll be a whole mess. Woo, we got a lot of happening. Words, slow down. We got a lot happening in November. Why are we here? We're going to be talking about your solar return chart. And I am going to turn off my Hygeia and my Black Moon Lilith because I don't want to spend time explaining what those glyphs are. I keep them on generally because they're things that I like to see in a chart, but I just took them off. I'm also going to take my decans off, and I know we like decans because they're amazing, but again, for just keeping it simple, I have now changed my chart wheel to be much more standard, simple. Oh, and that was the site that I wanted to have open for y'all was AstroSeek. Speaking of not all that simple, AstroSeek I will have open over here so that I can access it as needed. Whatever. I don't know. Pop-ups. all the things. No, okay, and we don't need all those ads back there. Okay, so I have everything open that I need to have open there. All right. We're going to be taking a look at what is a solar return chart and why do you need to know one. Here's what you're looking at in your natal chart. You're looking at the sun at a certain degree and a certain minute. That's what this one is here with the little apostrophe after. And that glyph is the sign that it's in. And so you probably already know I have a what sun because of the sign, like you were born during whatever season, that is your sun. That is sun sign astrology, measures your sun, and your birthday, of course, corresponds with when we get the sun back to that spot in your chart, but it's not always on your birthday. This is also why we end up with people who are born at the very, 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 very end of a sign, arguing with people who are born at the very, very beginning of a sign, because some of them are let's say, Leo, and some of them are Virgo. And this is the biggest fight I see. And all of the signs that potentially overlap could have this beef, but there is no beef bigger than, oh, no, hell no, I am not a Virgo. I'm a Leo. And oh, hell yes, I am a Virgo. Don't make me a Leo. Like in both directions, that beef, I don't know why. That beef is real. That like, don't make me what I'm not. I mean, and I get it. Don't make me what I'm not is a great philosophy in general, but it's because we use this cute little calendar to measure time. And if we're looking at the degree of the sun, we actually get a clearer indication of, well, are you Leo or are you Virgo? And you can actually both be born on the same day because the sun changed signs at a certain time on that day. And on a different year, it could have been a completely different day. That's where it gets interesting. It could be a completely different day that the sun sign changes. And that's why we got people arguing about, are they this sign or are they that sign? Which is why if you just get into the solar return of it all, wish each other happy solar return, it's clear because the sun has moved into a new degree of a new sign, and we are therefore wishing us a happy solar return of that sign. And it doesn't matter what happens with the day that it is. All right, so we're going to use me as an example. And I know using me as an example is not all that exciting because it's not your chart. But if you want, you can put your birth information in the chat and I will make a chart for you and show you. But that means that people are going to be up in your business a little bit. And this recording will stay up here as a live stream for people to watch in replay. So you got to decide how you feel about that. I won't put your name and all that up here, but I'll put your like initials or some little something for you on the screen. So once the chat's gone, maybe you feel a little more secure with that. And some of you are like, I don't care. Here's my info. Like me, like here's my info. Like there you go. Go ahead. Feel free to use the chat like that if you would like me to show you solar return for an example. But right now I'm going to show you me. So I was born when the sun was at 18 degrees, 59 minutes, Cancer. So what I am looking at is when is the sun back at 18 degrees, 59 minutes, Cancer. And I can do that with this cute little app. I can just go to return and change it to the sun. I want to know the solar returns, and I can hit next, and go every year of my life until we get to something close to where we are now. And we have to do this a lot because I'm 55. All right, so here we go. My solar return for 2025 happened on, look right here, July 10th, a whole day before my actual birthday. And that's because we're only looking at when did the sun get back to 18 degrees, 59 minutes, Cancer. And that happened in 2025 on July 10th. So right now what you're seeing is my chart natally in the center. And then the little shower cap chart around the outside is my current year solar return. But I want to only look at the solar return chart. So I have now flipped them, put this year's solar return in the center, and then turned off my natal chart just so we can isolate the solar return. Now, what this is doing though, important to note, because there are some sticklers who are already up in the chat, I'm sure, if not typing it, thinking it, hey, wait. You didn't create a solar return chart. All you did was check for when is the sun coming back to that same place based on where your software is. And my software is interestingly enough, on unceded Tongva land, just as I am here in what settlers call Santa Monica, California. I know, we're going to deal with that. Just chill. So for just keeping it super simple, I can take the sun at 18 degrees 59 minutes Cancer happens on July 10th, 2025 at 5:37 p.m. in Santa Monica, California, which is where I'm currently located. It's where my software is currently located. It's where this conversation is currently happening. It's where I was during my solar return, which would give me Sagittarius rising. How do I feel about that? A solar return chart is like, I'm going to come off this screen for a second and also check your chat. Check your chat in case y'all got questions for me. But I'm going to give you a little more eye contact here. The solar return chart is like a pair of sunglasses that your natal chart puts on. So your natal chart is your natal chart is your natal chart. You were born, where you were born, when you were born, the planets were in certain places. There's a Mars Scorpio motorcycle expressing its roar. Your chart, your chart, your chart. And then all your whole life, you experience transits. They activate certain things in your natal chart. There are also multiple timing techniques that we can use to take a look at who are you now. As your life progresses, your chart progresses. In fact, there is a technique, a timing technique called progressions, secondary progressions, solar, lunar, all sorts of things. Solar arc directions. There are secondary lunar progressions. I love that one. There are various types of progress chart that tell you who you are as time progresses. There are also techniques like the annual profections, and I am leaning in when I say profections to make sure that you're hearing me. And I'm not saying perfection, even though perfection of a degree is a thing astrologically. The technique is profection, annual profection, and your annual profected chart happens house by house by house. That is a traditional, ancient timing technique along the lines of all the ancient traditional astrology techniques that involve something called a time lord. It's a little much for me, so I just call it who's the boss of me? Who's the boss of me this year? Which planet is going to be my not ruling planet for the year, because nobody's really going to rule me because I already have my chart ruler and we're good. We're down. I know who rules my chart from natal times, but I look at each of the techniques, whether it's Fidaria, profection, progression, or zodiacal releasing, all different, decennials, all different timing techniques, and there are many. They put a pair of sunglasses on over your natal chart, and those sunglasses have different colored lenses. And on your birthday or at your solar return each year, you get the opportunity to trade out the sunglasses you had on from the year before and put on the ones that go with the solar return chart that you have going forward. And so looking back at, and I will come back to chat, looking at my solar return chart, again, I didn't actually create a solar return chart. I just did when is the sun back at 18 degrees 59 minutes Cancer for where I currently am, which is Santa Monica, California, and I'll explain why that's an issue in a minute. With this chart, I get a rising of Sagittarius. I also get my sun in the 8th house. And I go, I kind of like this. And here's why. When I am considering other timing techniques for my age 55, which is what I am, I also am looking at my profection ruler. As mentioned before, this is a different timing technique. And I am in an 8th house profection year from the time I turn 55 to the time I turn 56. And what that means is I'm going to be doing 8th house things in my natal chart. And in my natal chart, the 8th house is where I get other people's money. It's where money comes to me that I don't necessarily have a plan for or that I've expected. It's windfall, it's winnings, it's inheritance, it's tax bills. It can go in the other direction. It can be outflow. But in general, the 8th house is entrepreneur money. It's stuff that other people initiate and it shows up in my life. The 8th house is also where astrology lives. It's where I connect with my mother. And if we go back to my natal chart for a sec, I will show you that in my natal chart, I have a 20-degree Saturn, 20-degree Taurus Saturn in my 8th house. And the reason that's important is because I was born when Taurus was on my mother's sun. Sorry, Saturn in Taurus was on my mother's sun. So, my mother, a Taurus, has had her sun at 20 degrees Taurus. Saturn came and sat on 20 degrees Taurus on my birthday, which was also my mom's nodal return. We were born with the same nodes, North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo, and I mean same by minutes, by less than a degree separating our nodes. So I was born during my mother's nodal return with Saturn on her sun in my 8th house. And the 8th house is where we go for also death. Ugh! So you're going, Bonnie, why would you want that? And I go, because it's where I connect with my mother. My mom died right after I turned 30. My mom has been gone for a big chunk of my life. We're coming up on almost as much of my life without mom as with mom. And I have had to learn to relate with my mom using my 8th house. And I do so using that Saturn at 20 degrees. So 1 degree away from this solar return chart, putting it in the 8th house. So let's go back. I know I'm kind of layering things on. Right now, you see that it's the solar return puts sun on top of my sun because that's what it is. It's a solar return chart. But if we wanted to take a look at this chart on top of nothing, and we want to put it with its correct rising for that chart, which has that Sagittarius rising, it puts the sun of my solar return chart within a degree of Daddy Saturn in my natal chart, which is where my mom is. And you heard me mention, I am in an 8th house year by profection. So I love that this solar return chart, based in Santa Monica, so it has issues, which we're going to talk about in a second. So for those of you who are purists and are going, wait, you did not actually create a solar return chart. That's okay. I wanted to just do the first basic, just get the sun back to where it was when you were born, part of the conversation. What that does is it gets me even more in my 8th house for age 55, because by profection, I'm already in an 8th house year. Then in my solar return chart, my sun is in the 8th house with Jupiter, which is the ruler of my solar return chart, because the solar return chart has Sagittarius rising. Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter over here in exalted Cancer alongside my sun. Everybody's solar return chart, by the way, for the year is going to have exalted Jupiter in Cancer, because Jupiter spends a year in whatever sign he's in. And so this year, while he's in Cancer, when I say this year, I mean from June 2025 through the end of June 2026. So everybody's going to have a birthday between June and June 25 to 26. You're going to have a birthday, which means you're going to have Jupiter in Cancer, which is his favorite place to be. It's exalted. It's his Beyonce placement. It's where he is when he can do the most. It's that absurd, ridiculous, irrational optimism. And so I kind of love the 8th house theme that creates. So here's what I want to propose to you when it comes to solar return charts. We can get really precious about some rules, and I mentioned that in the description and in the promo that I did for today, that we can get precious about the rules. I'm going to go ahead and use purple pen because we're talking about some Jupiter stuff. So it's fine. We can do rules. But we can be expansive about it with Jupiter. But I want to ask you, when you get precious about some of the rules, what is it that's trying to speak up in your chart that's telling you have to stick to the rules? Because a lot of the time, I find that people want to get really precious about rules around things that make them have a less fabulous chart, a less optimistic view of the world for the year, as if they deserve or need to have a harder time with it. I remember working with someone who has a certain situation in whole signs versus Placidus, and he kept arguing for the Placidus placement. And I'm like, that's fine. Tell me why, when it comes down to house systems, you want Placidus to be right. And he didn't have a reason in terms of house systems, but he had a reason because of how hard his life had been. And I said, right. And what if today, when I show you that in whole signs, it makes things not as hard for this particular combination of planets that we're looking at? What if today you move forward with whole sign placements and suddenly your life feels less hard because you've given yourself the opportunity to take a look at your birth chart in a different way? Or do you want to keep arguing for it to be hard? And it was like, pew, things opened for him. And he went, I'm going to have to sit with that for a second because I really did like arguing for why things needed to be hard. But he came back to me later and said, I've switched to whole sign houses because I don't need it to be hard anymore. I experienced that in my 20s and 30s, and now I don't need that anymore. And so this is someone who post Saturn return was having a very different relationship with his chart, but kept arguing for it to go back to before when it was hard. And then using whole signs, he didn't have to anymore. And that turned out to be a really beautiful awakening for him. And his career and life has gone on to support that as well. So that's just something I'll ask you. If you feel yourself going, no, I want all the rules to be the way it has to be done, just ask yourself why. And it doesn't change that you want the rules to be the rules. I'm cool with that. Hey, me, Daddy Saturn, we rock. I'm totally fine with rules. I just want you to get curious about why. So, some of the rules for solar return chart are: you actually want to cast a new chart. And you want it to be a subsidiary chart of your natal chart. So, even though it is a new chart, it is a new chart based on your birth chart. You want to, if you're like, Bonnie, I don't know how to do any of this. It's all right. I got you. You want to possibly follow a rule that I'm like this about, which is put it back where you were born. Now, see, because I didn't do that. We just spent the whole first 20 minutes of this with me showing you my solar return chart as if Santa Monica, California is where we're basing this solar return. And my argument for that is, I'm in Santa Monica, California. Of course that's where I want my solar return chart to be. That's where I am. But the purists are going to tell you that there are rules that you actually want to put it back where you were born. Okay. Why? So here's where I can have a conversation with you about rules all day. Devil's advocate, Libra stellium, happy to talk with you about all the rules. In traditional astrology and giving yourself a solar return chart, or anyone else a solar return chart, you come back to the birthplace because it is the birth chart through the lens of if the sun in where it is today were predicting what kind of sunglasses. Remember, coming back to sunglasses, what is the shade that is going on this year? What is the theme of this solar return chart for this birth chart? And this birth chart happened for me in East Point, Georgia. So I want to go back to East Point, Georgia for a solar return chart in 2025 and not Santa Monica, California, where I've lived for 25 years now. Oh my God, 27 years. I've been back in LA. Oh my God, I've been back in LA as long. Okay. Not the point, Gillespie. The question is, does location matter? In traditional astrology, you do the solar return chart around the location of the birth. My argument is this, and I'm not the only one with this argument. My argument is this. Back when we originally did astrology, it was very unlikely that you would ever live all that far away from where you were born. If you left where you were born, you might get a couple 100 miles away from where you were born. Most likely that would be as big a deal as it would be. If you were taken an ocean away from where you were born, I'm almost like something happened. You got tooken. I'm going to want to know what that taking did to the location of this chart. I'm going to want to know, and you can but that's astrocartography. That's when we get into locational astrology. That's a whole different thing. Agree. But also, this natal chart, if I'm going to create a solar return chart on it as a subsidiary chart, I kind of want to see what my current location has to do with that. Now, here's when the argument gets layered over to the next level where I go, okay, now I see how this can become problematic. Maybe. Then you run into, hey, Bonnie, do my solar return chart as if I'm going to be in Fiji, because I'm going to take a vacation on my birthday, and I'm taking a vacation to a location that I want to give me a better solar return chart than I get if we do it for where I currently live or where I was born. The best possible solar return chart for me happens if I am in Fiji. And I'm like, there's a lot great that happens if you're in Fiji anyway. But what you're doing then is you're kind of like astro negotiating. You're trying to come up with where can I travel that then gets me the better lottery numbers for my solar return chart. And it doesn't kind of work that way. I mean, it does. You're creating a solar return chart for whatever location you happen to be in, which is fine. You can do that. It's just that then we get into, am I going and chasing a better chart than I'm actually going to be experiencing? And here's my take on that. Whatever the astrology is that's going to come show you itself, it's going to come show you itself. Whatever it is that's going to get activated in your chart, it's going to get activated in your chart no matter where you went to try and get a better solar return chart. So, coming back over here to my solar return chart, I like this solar return chart that I got on July 10th of 2025, which is not my birthday. My birthday is July 11th, but my solar return was July 10th. I like this 18 degrees, 59 minutes Cancer solar return in the 8th house with this Jupiter in Cancer that is incredibly expansive and optimistic, I like it expanding my 8th house and my experience of the 8th house, which does connect me with, yes, death, yes, okay, but also transformation, astrology, the what is the before and after of the spiritual plane. There is something really #witchy shit about the 8th house, and I like that. I like the idea of bringing Jupiter to that, and especially because Jupiter is the chart ruler of this solar return chart, because we take a look at Sagittarius rising, gives this chart even more Jupiter influence, and I love that. I think that's a really good fit for me this year. And a Sagittarius rising gives this solar return chart fire, which in my natal chart, I am severely lacking. There's not a lot of fire in this natal chart. Not at all. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually do a subsidiary chart that is a solar return, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I have, here's the little menu, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to use the chart named Bond because that's mine. And I'm not going to use now, I mean, this doesn't matter because I'm not changing it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the natal location because that's default. My natal location is East Point, Georgia. I'm going to use not progressions. I could do a progress chart. I don't want to. I want to do a planetary return. And we can do this for any. We could go through, like, we could do a lunar return, a solar return, Mercury return, Venus return. In fact, next week, put it on your calendar. Next week, I am doing a live stream, and it is going to be about your lunar return, and I'm actually going to have homework for y'all. I said put it on your calendar, and then I have no freaking idea which day it is. One day next week, I think it's the 4th. I think Tuesday the 4th, I am doing a live stream about your lunar return, and we are specifically going to do some homework. I'm going to actually have workbooky things for you. That is my promise. Anyway, we could do, I could do any of these, but we're going to do solar. We're going to do a solar return, and we're going to do return to natal. Okay, that's the thing. I could here go, I want to see when you go to different places. When does this sun show up in different places? But we're not. We're doing a solar return to natal, and I'm going to do the current version because I just had that solar return back in July, and so that is my current solar return chart, and that's what I want to see. If I were doing this for next year, I would choose next. And if I weren't sure where we are, like if I'm doing this in January and I'm not sure, well, which one is closest to me is in January, is it the one coming up or is it the one I just had? I would let, roulette do it, and I would say, let's go nearest. But here we go. We're going to calculate it. Oh no. My solar return chart suddenly got a Capricorn rising with Capricorn moon in the 1st house opposing my sun. We got a full moon in Cancer with Capricorn. So that's a full Capricorn moon. Oh, and the moon is in fall in Capricorn. She doesn't like it, but that's already where the moon was before. But I didn't notice it as much because it wasn't in the 1st house. So this one I'm noticing. I'm noticing. I don't like this one as much. It's in the 7th house. Oh, the sun in the 7th house is fine. It's a relationship. It's no big deal. But look at all the hard work. Oh God, no, Neptune in the 4th house. When Neptune is in the 4th house, it says plumbing problems. It says a drain of energy. It says we're going to have floods all through the 4th house. I don't like it. No, this chart is mean. I don't like it. You see what happened to me? Do you see what happened to me? Like, it was instant. I don't like this chart. But it's still my solar return chart. This is still a part of the conversation. This is still a pair of sunglasses. This is a Saturn ruled solar return chart. This is a Saturn ruled solar return chart while Saturn is in bad shape. Saturn is not only in a sign where he does not do well, Aries, but he's got Neptune, an outer malefic, moving toward him retrograde. So bearing down on him, and Neptune is powerful in this 4th house, where I already talked about all the water stuff that happens when you get Neptune in the 4th house. And that Daddy Saturn ruling this chart with this sad little moon across from this sun. And the moon is, of course, the ruler of this sun. And this moon can't rule this sun very well. This is a struggle chart by comparison. And am I going to have the struggles of this chart? Probably. I mean, in as much as I'm going to have the ones that I just showed you, I can't take the benefits of the chart that I prefer and not take the bad stuff of the chart I don't prefer, or can I? And this brings us back to the question that I asked the client who had a big shift when he went from Placidus to whole signs. When he went from Placidus to whole signs, he kept arguing for the fight that existed in Placidus. And I said, or you could decide that because you now know whole signs, that represents who you are. And your relationship with your chart changes because of what your education and awareness opened you up to. That is something to consider. So, this is before I even put this chart on my natal chart and see what it aspects, which I'm not going to do because that is an advanced move, and I want to see if y'all have given me birthdays so that we can take a look at you. I want to first, though, go back to the chart that is my chart, and I want to choose a different subsidiary chart if I wanted to here change to where I currently live. So you see I changed it to Santa Monica, California. All right, solar, calculate. We get the same chart that I created by doing the sun at 18 degrees 59 minutes. So I just want to show you that I wasn't cheating when I created the first chart. It is still the subsidiary chart, but it is the subsidiary chart for my current location. So you could have fights with people about the value in doing a chart for your current location, your birth location, where you want to travel to for your solar return, and all of the above. I'm not going to argue with you about that, because no matter what, it is a pair of sunglasses that colors the experience you're having this year. All right, let's take a look at you in the chat. You do appreciate the text, yes. Yes. Chart looking great. Good. I keep Black Moon Lilith on too. Yeah, Holly, I do. And especially the more work I do with Melissa Krim. Y'all remember my co-host from Melissa Has Questions, the podcast that we did for 6 whole months. I'm so proud of us. Melissa is a Black Moon Lilith stan and expert. And I really am enjoying what I'm getting to learn about Black Moon Lilith. Yes, I know I have my dog's fur on me. You've got 29, 28 Sag, 28 in Taurus, Pisces, 12 degrees, 50 minutes on Astro. Okay, good. All right, let's do it. Okay, great. Y'all giving me some info. I love it. And you're doing it without giving me your birth chart, like your actual birth info, which is totally fine. All right, so Carla, you've got a 29, 28 Sag sun. All right, and then Dani, you've got a 28 Taurus. Let's see if you're going to give me minutes on that at all, Dani. Holly, you are giving me a Pisces, 12 degrees, 50 minutes. Yeah, okay, good. Love it. Moondust says 20 Taurus. Again, give me minutes if you want. Give me minutes. Hey, Tank, good to see you. Speaking of rules, what is your opinion, Tracy wants to know, in regard to not reading a solar return chart on its own, i.e. it must be read along with natal chart? So, Tracy, this gets into it's a pair of sunglasses that you put on, and that pair of sunglasses that you put on is going to color what's happening in your natal chart. And so you saw me going with my solar return chart. I can look at it on its own and appreciate the house and stuff that it's doing, but I'm always relating it back to what is my natal chart experiencing. And being in an 8th house perfection year, I loved that it put the sun in an 8th house space on its own. And then, of course, in moving it to look along with my current chart, where does that put my, not perfected, not projected, not, what's the word I'm looking for? Not progressed. my solar return ruler, where does it put it in my natal chart? I definitely look at that being the place for certain themes. Absolutely. But I do like to look at it on its own first, just to get a glance at what's the terrain. What if I were born now, which I'm not. I'm not born now. I would be 55 years younger. I'm not born now. But if I were, what is the vibe of that? And so the same sort of way that we do, like, oh, it's your birthday, make a wish. It's like, this is a thing that we can do, and there's a little novelty to it. But overall, it is, what is the effect that this optimism, these wishes that you made on your birthday, what will they have? What kind of impact will they have? What kind of sunglasses? What color shade do they put on your existing experience? What it is to be you, right? Okay. All right, so where was I? Moondust, 20 Taurus. Yes. Excellent. Okay, Tracy, I can do yours. Okay, excellent. 328 ports. Myth, Virginia, 5176. Got you. VO is 329. Oh, I'm not saying it out loud because y'all will want to delete this after. Chicago. Google Monster already knows. And it's 934 Aries Sun. Got you. Okay. Cool. Boop. Got it. And Carla. 163. 37 minutes for Dani. Thank you on that Taurus. And yours is 2 minutes Moondust. Okay, great. Those of you who were holding off on giving me details because you don't want that all up in the chat, got it. Feel free to go delete that stuff now because I got you. I got you, Carla, got you, Dani, got you, Holly, got you, Moondust, got you, VO, got you, Tracy. Okay, so if I did not just call your name, I do not have you. So let's go. I'm going to make a new chart and I'm not doing this on screen because I want it to be a little private. Let's see. So now play some music. I could make music right now, but if I made music right now, y'all would probably see me canceled from, what's it called? Copyright. So let's not do that. All right. 29. And 28. Okay, I am now gonna share my screen. Carla, did I get your sun right? 29, 28 Sag. I think I did. So Carla, this is me using Santa Monica, which is where the astrologer is. And there's an argument for this. There's a whole strain of astrology that is based on when you bring the question to the astrologer, cast the chart of that moment, because the astrologer is going to use the answer based on the chart of that moment that the question was asked. That's a whole other kind of astrology. There's a lot to be said about putting this in the astrologer's space. Now, you and I are in the same time zone, Carla, so I'm not going to go change it to you and where you live, because I know that we are in the same time zone, which means we're going to get these same timing of this degree thing. But let's take a look at what this creates for you. So solar return chart for you gives us a 6th house sun, which again, based on what Tracy was saying, the argument of we don't really take a look at houses for things like your solar return chart, because what we do is we look at it in relationship with your existing chart, your natal chart, right? But so where is your sun in your natal chart? And consider that you're going to have this boost of 6th house energy, whatever it is. Like, so whatever rising you are, your solar return, getting the sun back to the exact place it was when you were born by degree and minute, at least for me here in Santa Monica, is giving you some 6th house energy. And you may be like, yeah, I need that. I need some 6th house energy. I need to have some day-to-day working through stuff energy that the sun brings. The sun brings vitality. The 6th house is a great place for health, vitality to exist. We like that. We also take a look at, you've got with this solar return chart that we're kind of like mocking up here, we get a Cancer rising. We get this exalted Cancer, of course, Jupiter. And that's, like I said, everybody this year is getting an exalted Jupiter in Cancer because that's how long Jupiter is in Cancer. So everybody from June to June, you're going to have this. So you will have a solar return chart with this gorgeous Jupiter in Cancer. You get it in the first house on this version of a solar return chart. And so then the question is, do you like that? Do you like the idea of having Jupiter in the first house, bringing abundance into how you show up, like getting you being more optimistic about your you-ness, because the first house is you, yes, your body, but also your personality and how you do your life car. We haven't talked about life car yet, but y'all know that's a big player in chart harmony. And that's where we say the ruler of this solar return chart is the moon, and the moon being the ruler of this solar return chart is going to be a little more agitaty in terms of the energy and the pace at which it does things, because the moon moves really fast. But with Jupiter there, it's saying we can move fast and we can have all the faith in the world, and we can bring a lot more visibility and being seen to this conversation. And so when we look at this in conversation with your natal chart, your profected ruler, what house is that going to be? We may decide that this actually does have some really yummy synastry. And this, I'm not talking about looking at this as a synastry chart at all, but you may find that this helps you understand some of the themes that you're going to experience this year. You know, when we look at Mars and the moon together in Capricorn, that's not very happy. That's exalted Mars, so it's a really great, healthy, yummy Mars. But being above the sun, Mars not a big fan of that. The Mars likes being below the sun. Mars also on that moon, 6 degrees apart. I'm okay with that. That's a little far enough away that it shouldn't be too bad. But the moon is the ruler of this solar return, and that moon is super sensitive and doesn't like being in Capricorn. So you may go, okay, going to be a little extra sensitive, especially in 7th house matters, which are where we do me and my person, my partner, any partners of business, as well as in your personal life. So that could mean that that exalted Mars says, take action, and you think that's going to feel good, but then that moon goes, it doesn't feel good, it feels uncomfortable. And yeah, taking action can feel uncomfortable. So we could even look at that and say, even that signature doesn't scare me. It just sounds like about what I got to spend some energy on this year. So let me come off this for a second and check on you and see how that might relate to any of what you are seeing. But of course, I'm also interested in what you might see, how you interpret all of that. You're up the road, right, Carla? Michelle, you don't have your birth chart in front of you. I have you saved because you're in my membership. So Michelle, if you don't mind, I can just pull you from the Live Your Chart space, because I have your natal chart. So you don't have to look up your sun. I can do that for you. If you want. If you would be comfortable with that. What do you think, Carla? So sun in the 6th house, themes of day-to-day life. I like it when the 6th house is getting my attention because it means more focus on making magic out of the everyday. Moon rule, little nervous. Focus on some relationship stuff. Exalted Mars in the 7th house, taking action. What do you think? Feels doable? You like the assignment? Let me know. Let me know. All right. We are now going to do Dani. And Dani, we are going to go to the sun at, look at y'all in your late degree suns. I love this. Late degree sun. Love it, love it, love it. Feeling a lot of shifts, a lot of nerves about stepping out of my comfort zone. Carla, you know, I see that. So here would be my question for you. How can that solar return chart with the sun in the 6th house, obviously, where would that go on your natal chart? Like, where do you have Sagittarius in your natal chart also. But just bringing that energy into your 6th house, could you ritualize a little bit every day, feeling into stepping out of your comfort zone, becoming something that feels safe? Like that sun, Sagittarius being seen. Obviously, you're already a fire sign. You already know what it is to be a Sagittarius sun, but doing a little bit of that every day, bringing a little bit of that into the everyday, and telling that sweet little moon ruler of this solar return chart, it's safe. And the good news is, your 6th house natal anyway. Great. Perfect. So this is kind of already your life. You're getting a solar return that is almost like a refresh of your natal chart. And the refresh is it puts all the current transits, the current planets in places where they're activating things different than they were when you were born, whatever ago. I like it. I kind of like that assignment, and I like that we're not there yet. We were looking at the December chart, and here we are having this conversation in late October. You're not there yet. You still got stuff you're finishing up from solar return chart 2024. Yeah. Lilith return coming up soon too. Girl, come on now. You're about to be on fire. I love it. Okay. All right. Dani, you're up next. Dani, this is where the sun was for your solar return. Tell me if I have this right. I've got 28 degrees, 37 minutes Taurus for 2025. And again, I'm using Santa Monica, California. If you want me to change the location, I'm happy to. Just tell me where. But right now we're going to keep it on Santa Monica unless y'all say otherwise, just because we're going to play where the astrologer is and see what that lands us on, because of course this is definitely one of many ways to work through solar return conversations. Now, what I see right away is that on your birthday this past year, or on your solar return this past year, you got Uranus all up on that sun. So the sun had just crossed over Uranus in actual transit time, right? Because Uranus sitting at 27 degrees Taurus, that had already been there agitating the crap out of that spot. That's in fact how far Uranus is going to retrograde back into Taurus in this last quarter of 2025 into first quarter 2026. So we're going to experience this again. But your solar return chart has the sun moving right across that Uranus, picking up all that energy. And if you're like, what is the energy? Well, you're already feeling it. That energy is, and you have been since May, that energy is Uranus saying, where are we not free? And then we're going to break shit to get free. That is the big signature of Uranus, is I'm going to come into a spot where I think things are not as free as they could be, and then I'm just going to flip some tables like a drunk housewife until Bravo gives me my own show, because it is important for me to make things free that were not free before. So this, my eye goes right to, this is a rebellious solar return chart. This is a sun going, I don't really give a fuck what you think. I'm going to go ahead and be a little more rebellious, and it's just not going to be a problem. And if we look at this solar return chart on its own, it's happening with this in your 4th house, which is where you live, where you consider home. This could be stuff going on with your family of origin or property, or you're picking up and moving. Like there's all sorts of renovation energy that exists around this, but also, now I come over to who would be the chart ruler for this solar return chart. And it's going to be, again, a moon hanging out in the 1st house is always interesting to me. Not just because I have a natal 1st house moon, but because I love what that means for how intuitive you become. You've got this chart ruler of Daddy Saturn, because Aquarius rising would have Daddy Saturn as the chart ruler. And that would mean that you've got this psychic Pisces Saturn 29th degree critical degree chart ruler for this solar return chart. And Aquarius moon doesn't really care. Aquarius rising, full on alien. Like just, I swear to God, this dog fur that will not leave my lip gloss and therefore is tickling my nose is going to be the death of me. All right. I need a lint roller for my face. Ah! Okay. This energy of Aquarius rising plus Aquarius moon plus a Pluto first house, this is a powerful fucking chart. And I do not apologize for swearing because this is a powerful fucking chart. And before I say more, I want to check on you because that's a lot of energy and a lot of wow, 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 perhaps. Sounds too real for what has been going on. Too real. My I don't give a fuck meter is on 0. Right. Exactly. My natal moon is in Aquarius at 28 degrees and 27 minutes. Okay, so you already have a moon sun square natally. Dani, I do too. And when the moon and sun are in a square in our natal charts, we often struggle with the things that we do in life and how we think we're showing up, not necessarily aligning with how we show up. It also generally means that the parents were not in the best relationship when you were conceived, potentially. And certainly by the time you were born, there could be parental stuff that was not so happy. But because both Taurus and Aquarius are fixed signs, that's a square. So same as I experienced, but mine's in Libra Cancer. But yeah, so all right, then you're already used to having an I don't give a fuck on the whole Aquarius moon, which is great. It also means you're incredibly detached. You do the same thing that I do when it comes to like relationships and caring and all the sweet stuff that a moon usually looks out for. You're like, whatever, you know. And then people are like, hey, care more. And you're like, look, I care a lot. There's a lot bigger stuff to care about than this little whatever that's going on right here. You know, because air signs. Also that. So tell me if you are doing some big changes. Your parents were on date number 2 when you were born. Your father wasn't around until last year. Dani, come on. Come on now, but astrology's not real. Come on now. So you're going to be doing some big, powerful, flip the script, flip the table stuff. And you already have been. This is your solar return chart from May. So you're already in this. You've already been living this for a few months. I'm going to say this is going to get even more interesting when Uranus moves back into Taurus in our current transits, which is coming November 7th. That retrograde Uranus getting back into Taurus and shifting some energy there should be pretty interesting. Thank you for letting me take a look at your solar return as well. Started my business back in July as well, based around astrology and shadow work. Perfect. I love it. Great. I love it. That is fantastic. I'm going to say lean more into what is your north node? Tell me your north node. And then I'm going to start doing the next solar return that we're looking at, which is Holly. Holly is going to do some Pisces sun. And that Pisces is going to be 1250. Go. Let's see. Let's do your current solar return chart, Holly. And Dani, yeah, tell me what your north node is if you can find it. And meanwhile, I'm going to go look at Holly's chart here. Holly, take a look. This is current solar return chart, which is March 2nd. Tell me if this looks right to you. 12 degrees, 50 minutes Pisces for your sun, Holly. All right. Again, a sixth house sun placement in a solar return chart always says to me we're going to be doing lots and lots of embodying the vitality, making it a day-to-day sunshine of the mundane things, the stuff that we are focusing on in the day-to-day. That's a lot of activity in general in the sixth house. It's also that north node Pisces in the sixth house. I have my north node Pisces sixth house, so I can tell you it is like bringing the psychic energy into the everyday. And that Aries moon is going to be saying, no, but let's get at it. Let's make it happen right now. But you've got with this solar return chart, what you've been living since March has had a very diplomatic, very specifically, I want to make everybody happy kind of Libra rising situation. And with that Libra ruled by Venus over here in the 7th house, it's a lot of energy on your one-on-one relationships, and not necessarily in the most happening, excited kind of way, because specifically that Venus in Aries, not quite so comfortable, and then that moon there also just intuitively not enjoying how that energy lines up, and Chiron being there as well. That's been hard in Aries for years now. Everybody's experiencing that. But I want to take a look at how does this overlay with your natal chart. And so take a look at the Pisces part of your chart always, but for your solar return, are you bringing, and this is something you've been living since March of this past year, or of 2025, have you been living more of like career focused, but super sensitive to the things that are happening because Mars in Cancer, not great? Have you been living a super sensitive, emotional, intuitive experience around your career stuff and trying to bring some of that psychic energy of Pisces, 6th house North Node, plus your Sun, plus Daddy Saturn, plus Neptune, plus Mercury, all of that energy there? Have you been trying to bring that more into the day-to-day? And the caution I would give you is on people pleasing. Do less of it, which is hard when you've got a ruler of especially Venus on your solar return chart being in the 7th house. It's going to always try to look for, but what does the partner want? What does the client want? What does my person want? What could I be doing differently to make things better? And I'm going to say, you focus on you, focus on you, focus on you. Tell me how that hits. Dani says North Node Aries, 10 degrees. Okay, in the 5th house. Okay, all right. So Dani, your homework is to spend more energy on action of things that make you feel good. And I'm saying that because with your North Node in the 5th house, it needs to be playful, it needs to be frisky, it needs to be risky. And like the kind of risk that you're like, let's do it, let's see what could happen, let's go. Holly says your birthday's on the 3rd, and that's right. Okay, husband's Aries. Oh, so husband Aries, he's been getting all your attention. He's been getting all your attention this year. I'm totally covering my mouth while I'm saying that. He's been getting all your attention this year. It has been rough. I'm sorry, Holly. Since my mom passing on the first week in August, I've done nothing but focus on getting business going so I can be at home. Okay. Holly, I'm so sorry. The good news is the focus that you have been putting on your husband has helped and is going to benefit where the rest of this year is going to go for you. Yeah, I got you. I see that. The marriage house has been a lot. It's been rough. Let's take a look at what this is going to do, because we're close enough to your next solar return. Let's take a look at what it's going to do for you for 2026. And so this gets your solar return happening with all this energy down here in the 4th. So here's what I like. Your solar return for March 3rd gets you a Jupiter ruled chart, Jupiter exalted in Cancer, 8th house, the absolutely house of death and dealing with dead people stuff. Yes, but Jupiter optimistic, Jupiter in the sign of his exaltation, Cancer. So full on psychic energy around this. And you're also getting your solar return at, look at that. Woo! Eclipse, baby. Oh, wow. You are getting a full moon. Like, seriously, is this the eclipse? Let me see. I want to see. Is this the eclipse? It is. You got an eclipse chart, hun. Your solar return chart. Yep. It's an eclipse solar return chart on top of everything else. Okay. Good news, bad news. Good news, you're ready for this. Like everything you've done the first half of 2025 has readied you for this. It's like you've gotten stronger and stronger and stronger to be ready for this. Bad news, this that you've been going through is not done. And the transformation that it is creating in your solar return chart for next year is going to be home and business, home and business, home and business, home and business. You see that? That eclipse is happening in the 4th and 10th houses of the solar return chart. Now, again, We could choose to move this chart to where you are physically located today. We could move it to where you were born. We can do all sorts of things. This is just astrologer based, Santa Monica, California for this, and where the themes are that I'm seeing for you. I think the best news of it all is with that solar return chart for 2026 giving you Jupiter as the chart ruler, and the stuff happening with the 8th house stuff. You already know that's happening because of the loss in your family and in your life, but you are absolutely kicking up some business stuff. And I'm not mad at Virgo being in the 10th house for your solar return chart coming up in 2026, because that is really going to give you that attention to detail that you're going to need. The problem is with the South Node being in that 10th house, it is going to be a drain of your energy. Duh. Like, it already is. You are already like, let me focus on work. Let me work from home. Let me get more of this going over here. And that energy is real. So do what you can to fill up your cup so that you don't get yourself so depleted that you have to take to bed about the rest of it all. Okay. So make sure you're giving yourself a little more energy, Holly, so that you can have that vibe of, I can do this. Okay. Make sure you're taking like good boundaries. Say, Daddy Saturn, help me with some good boundaries. Okay. Awesome. Yes, it is the best homework to be focused on, Dani. Good. Enjoy. Okay. And Holly, you've given me some exact info. So I will be able to take a look at that deeper if you want. Okay. Got you. All right. Let me make sure I get to everybody here. You've been scared to even look. Oh no, it is. Yeah. That, I know that stellium in the 4th is no joke. It just means it's where it's not. Yes, exactly. It's not over yet. Yep. I hear that. I have issues looking at my chart objectively too, because, you know, we can't. We live our charts. We're in our charts. Yeah, you feel the energy suck already. Yeah, well, because the eclipses are already happening on Virgo Pisces, which means even just you being a Pisces sun, you've been feeling that drain of Virgo stuff, and that's opposite your sun just in your natal chart. So you've been feeling that. Everybody Pisces has been feeling that uptick of psychic and energy of other worlds and other timelines. And in a way, that's a lot like that, especially right now. That's a lot of psychic energy. And that's why it's so important to have good energetic hygiene to create boundaries around that. We'll talk more on this, Holly. You got this, sweetheart. Yeah, it's going to take some work, but you're ready for it. Just give yourself really good boundaries. Let Daddy Saturn in Pisces, this finishing up that he's doing, remind you of the value in structure and rules and not letting people cross those boundaries. Okay, including you. You don't cross those boundaries. All right, Moondust, you're up. Moondust, are you still here, Moondust? I got you at 20. Taurus. That's what my mom's is. 20 Taurus. Let's go. All right. 20 Taurus. 02. All right. Boop, 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 boop. Moondust. Here you go, babe. Moondust. Solar return chart for the one you're currently living. I love this for you. Oh my God. Look at this. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. And showing up. Okay, so in your current, so as of May of this year, in your current solar return chart based in Santa Monica, which I know, rules, we have a ton of fire energy. Yes, always. But also, you've got this sun in the 2nd house saying, let's work on money, honey. You got your midheaven for this chart in Capricorn. So, of course, saying, let's do some business. I really like this, actually. I like the moon over here in Libra opposing this Chiron, not so much, but the Mercury of it all I like a great deal. This is a fun Like, we're going to focus on how we're getting some energy coming in and having lots of fun with it. And the reason I say that is because we look at what is the chart ruler based on the rising of this chart. Solar return chart with an Aries rising means going to be ruled by Mars. And so Mars in this solar return chart is in Leo in your 5th house. Again, not your 5th house natally, but in the 5th house of the solar return chart. So again, these are the sunglasses that we're putting on. So your existing chart still has all its natal features, but we're now saying go do some Leo stuff and do 5th house stuff. That solar return chart says take action on being seen, being proud, Leo, getting out there in front of people, because 5th house is take the stage, be seen, bring the drama, don't be afraid of any of that. And then of course we want to look to where is all of this happening in your natal chart for how that lines up and how you would like to layer that on. But I would say this is a chart that tells me a lot more visibility is going to help you with a lot more money. And to me, that feels like yum, yum, yum. Let me see how that's sounding to you. You're here. Luckily, I'm starting my horoscope and tarot reading, etc. right now. I've been focusing. It's helping. Good, Holly. I'm glad. I'm glad. Woo, money, says Moondust. My natal Mars is 6 degree Leo. That's pretty close. So you also just had your Mars return right before your solar return in 2025. Moondust. Perfect. So this is definitely where I look at this and go, you know how I was looking at my solar return and saying, wow, Jupiter is like a big player. 8th house is a big player. I'm really liking this. You are having a Mars big player energy and have been since May. So you not only had your Mars return 6 degrees Leo, but then also got Mars near your Mars return spot in this solar return chart in the 5th house of it. So it's saying, go be seen, go have courage, be a leader, get out there in front of the world. All that 1st house Aries energy in this solar return chart is also saying doing this visibility stuff and letting Mars lead is going to bring you that focus on money in a good way. Dude, really? Mars is your time lord? Can't make this shit up. See, it's like I said, how I'm in an 8th house profection year and my solar return chart puts my sun in the 8th house. I know. It's wild. I know. So when everybody's like, but these rules, I'm like, or you could just trust the astrologer to pull up your chart. I know. Trying to step into visibility, literally, by putting myself out of my comfort zone and work toward a leadership role. All right. It's happening. Don't let it drag you into it. Go do it with fun. Okay. That's your homework. Do it with fun. Part of what we're going to do next week when we meet up about the lunar return homework that I'm going to have for all y'all, you're going to pick a moon each month, so 13 times a year, to have a date with. And you're going to have a date, you're going to have a lady date with the moon 13 times. And I would recommend for you, Moondust, Leo. Do visibility things, do 5th house things, do fun things, make it play. Make it play. I hate the spotlight. Too bad. Your chart says you're in it. Yeah. Yeah, embrace it a teeny bit. What would it look like to embrace the spotlight and not cringe? I know, VO, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Like this homework, I created it for my Live Your Chart membership. And actually, I created it for my Mistress Minders and loved it so much with them that I took it to Live Your Chart and loved it so much with them that I then took it to another client and loved it so much with them that I said, okay, this is going to be a thing. So I'm actually going to have a whole like workbook, how to, and probably offer like some mini reading discount sessions for people who want to like really zero in on it with me. Yeah. Stop, North Node, 5th house. I will not stop. I will not stop. The astrology says so. You got to get in the spotlight. You got to have fun. You got to be seen. You're gonna love it. Okay. All right, VO, your turn. Are you ready? Are you ready? VO. All right. Oh, we're going to Aries. We're going to Aries. Let's do it. Let's do it. Boop, boop, boop. All right, VO. VO. Here we go. VO, can you see your solar return chart from this? Yeah. You are absolutely welcome. It is absolutely my pleasure. And I love, love, love knowing that it is spot on. Tell your friends. All right. Yes. Excellent. I know. It's okay. It's okay to prefer the back room. It's okay. It's all right. We can prefer it and still go have a little bit of pleasure. Remember, fifth house is about pleasure. Fifth house is about, sexy time. Getting frisky. What can make it feel playful? What can make it feel like fun? Yes, it's going to feel like taking a risk, but it can also be fun. All right, so VO, honey, this is what you've been living since late March. 8th house sun with the moon, so very definitely got that new moon energy, feeling like you are planting seeds, starting things. So all year has felt like since your solar return. Where is my doggo in here? Did my doggo just come in here? Hi, baby. Hi. Did you want to come say hi? Hello, baby. Hi. Yeah, I heard you. I heard your little pitter patter. I did. Oh, he says you got to scritch my booty, mommy. Scritch my booty. Hey, Mala Beads. Go there. Go to your spot. Go to your spot. Go say hi to the people. Say hi to the people. Hello. Hello. What a good boy. What a good boy. I don't have anything for you. He said, you don't have anything for me? You don't have anything for me? Well, then what's the point, Mama? Okay. Oh. Better go get it. Okay. All right. There's some mala for you. There's some mala for you. Yay. All right. Yes, I can get my dog to chase paper balls. So, VO, hun. Energy for the transformation of 8th house stuff, but definitely some leaky energy on the relationship part of it all. And when I say leaky, I don't mean in the things are a waste. I mean that you're finding, even with that 8th house position of sun and moon and planting seeds and not really being sure what the year is about yet, you are feeling that draw of focus into 7th house matters. What I look at, though, also is this: having that south node in the 1st house in this solar return chart can also mean that it's been feeling like a lot just physically, like getting out of bed, having the energy to show up for things, because 1st house is a big health house, and the south node being there, even in a solar return chart, can mean a lot of that vitality feels like it is just sucked out. So here's what we're going to do. We're also going to take a look at what this means is ahead for you coming up in the solar return for March of 2026. We definitely get that health situation into a better place. That stuff that was in the 1st house of that solar return chart is now moved up to the 10th house for your next year. So starting with your birthday in 2026, we've got more of a focus on have fun, frisky energy, bring all of that there. And again, you, like I, get that Jupiter rulership of that year, because we're putting that solar return pair of sunglasses on starting March of 2026 for you with a Sagittarius rising, which would be ruler of Jupiter, and that Jupiter ruler is exalted in Cancer in your 8th house in this solar return chart. So I'm saying your solar return chart for 2026, much lighter, much more career focused, and much more focused on have fun, have fun, have fun. But your career is definitely going to take up a lot of your physical energy. And if you're like, yep, that tracks, okay, good, but you've been getting right now a pull on the physical energy of actually just being and just showing up. And that can be not fun. And that's why I wanted to definitely show you where it's going to shift. And what do you do in the meantime? Rest, give yourself breaks. Again, we lean on Daddy Saturn for boundaries, but I would say for this, we're actually looking for Mercury, because this is a Mercury ruled solar return chart. And Mercury says, how can I communicate directly? How can I, because Mercury retrograde in this solar return chart in Aries is not communicating directly, but how do we get a communication focus for this solar return year that you've been in since March of 2025. That is a pair of sunglasses. Why did I say glasses? A pair of sunglasses that gets you the ability to be more direct in how you are using that Mercury rulership energy. Rulership, that's where I was saying it. Okay, that's where the sh came in. How does that feel for you, Vio, other than like, wah, wah? I know. Didn't you love my puppy dog? Yeah, that house shift from natal. I know, he's so cute. I know, I love my little boy. I know, I had a paper ball. But he chased the paper ball. He's good. Drained and relationships extra trouble like landlord. Yep. Turned into a slumlord. I don't like that. Vio. I don't like that. Okay, well, again, you are in need of that Mercury ruler of your solar return chart for this set of sunglasses. We need you to get direct. We need it to have some chart harmony. Do some Mercury, we're meeting on Mercury's day right now. Do some Mercury related work around your landlord and communicating and documenting. And even if it's not communicating to him, it's communicating about him. And I don't know why I'm giving a gender of him, except that my landlord's a him, so I went with that. But whatever your landlord's gender pronouns are, documenting. Use Mercury not just in the we need to communicate with each other, but in the I need to communicate about you and what's happening. It's a him. Okay. Well, when in doubt, if someone turns into a slumlord, we can. Sorry, dudes. I can't. All right, Tracy, we're moving on to you, sweetheart. And I think that is it for the ones that we're doing live during this live stream. Thank you for hanging out with me. This has, of course, been a longer time than I expected and probably y'all expected. And that's okay because I don't have my next appointment for another hour. So it works out okay. I am gonna say, here we go. This is with Tracy. I am actually going to get to go. We're gonna go actually to your birth chart because you gave me all the things. Thank you very much. AM, and it is nope. Nope. Portsmouth not found in Virginia. What am I spelling wrong? Is it West Virginia? You are so welcome, Carla. Hey, Tracy, tell me, Portsmouth, Portsmith. Portsmith. Oh, I did spell it right, but Virginia it doesn't want. No, you're not imagining things. That's actually one of my favorite parts about getting the astrology to co-sign what's going on. I go, okay, all right, it's not you, it's the woo. And just knowing that gives it less of a, okay, great, then I don't have to figure this fucking out. It's what's going on astrologically. This was energy that was going to be expressed no matter what. So if this energy is going to be expressed no matter what, let me do some chart harmony about it. And I'm glad that I now know this is what it is. It's not that I lost my home or that I had a flood or, it's just landlord shit. And so it's like, great, if I were going to have to deal with this kind of stuff, it's landlord shit. People have survived landlord shit before. I will survive landlord shit. What do I need to do about it? Mouth, not Smith. Mouth. Got it. That is my misspelling. And I didn't make it better. I spelled it worse. Bonnie. Focus. I know. Now, calculate. Yay! I got you. Okay, I got you. Yes, I know. That's one of my favorite things about astrology is show me that it's not me. All right. So, Tracy, I'm going to actually do a couple of them for you. Since you're last, we're going to go ahead and do a natal one on you for the current year. All right, so we're doing solar, return to natal, current year. So this one right here gives you a solar return lens of that Taurus sun, yes, of course, but in that fifth house, co-present with that Uranus. So still feeling that very rebellious energy that has been with you the whole time that Uranus has been in Taurus, of course. Focus on home stuff, yes. And also with that Capricorn rising for that solar return chart, we take a look at the condition of Daddy Saturn, but we also want to take a look at the condition of Daddy Saturn in your natal chart. So this is where I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to see, can I bring back Tracy's natal? So what I have now is what we were talking about at the beginning, which is put the natal chart in the center and then put the solar return chart on the outside and see where it is in relationship to, and that means it doesn't get a different rising. So I like seeing the solar return chart and its rising on its own, because then I go, okay, that chart ruler is something that I want to look at, and where is it in my natal chart and what is it communicating this year? But you tell me. So Tracy, doing this on your natal chart, which has a Pisces rising, it means that we are seeing the changes of energy being mostly feeling some extra focus on first house matters because North Node, but that has been true for you since the beginning of 2025, if not even a little bit in the last half of 2024, because of that nodal shift that was happening there as we shifted out of the Aries Libra axis. But Daddy Saturn obviously has been in Pisces and therefore in your first house for years, and is almost done with the conversation and into Aries. But in the solar return chart, just taking a look at where it dumps some of this energy, it's definitely got focus on fourth house matters from a not happy Jupiter. But, for me, the main thing I'm looking at is where does it get these nodes? But again, I prefer doing this with an eye toward just this on its own and go, am I noticing some energy over here in fourth house matters? Yes. Yes, of course, we've got the Pisces stuff that we had in the first house before, but looking at that Daddy Saturn over here in third house, creating boundaries around how we communicate and how we do some of the neighbory stuff, because third house, but that's also social media and spending energy there. And with a fifth house sun for the solar return chart, are you focusing on being friskier, being more in the spotlight, getting more things out there and done, and feeling like, yes, you're taking risks in doing it, but being really brave doing so. Let's take a look at where this goes for, and again, we are looking at a solar return chart for where you are, not where I am. So if you had come to me for a solar return chart of where you are, I would go, I want to see when is the sun back at this position here. And I would have gone, nope, hang on, flip it to there. This one now takes us to Santa Monica. And this, if I'm doing this reading for you specifically, I go, ooh, look at that Jupiter up at the top of your chart, bringing so much yummy energy, even though that's not a very happy Jupiter. That means starting in March of this 2025 year, your birthday sunglasses included putting more optimistic focus on career stuff. And it definitely has you focused on communicating with the other worlds, communicating with people who have passed, looking at other people's money, an infusion of money from other sources, being more into entrepreneurship and less into jobby job stuff. And how do we get that energy wrangled? And then I take a look at the next year one, again, from my location, and that puts us in, again, we're going to have a fifth house energy either way. Do you notice how we did the solar return chart for your location and got a fifth house sun for 2025? And then we do it for my location the way I would do it and got for 2026 a fifth house sun. It's like that fifth house sun is coming for you no matter what. Wait, this is not you. 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 I know you're probably trying to catch me in the chat going, Bonnie, that's not me. That's not even close to me. I'm like, that's not you. That's not a Taurus sun. What? I know, that's VOs. See? It's been too long. I've been talking too long. This is why I don't go this long, y'all. All right, let's let's try it. Now let's try. 86, all that I just did. Erase that last like 5 minutes. All right, now we're going to take a look at, slow it down, Gillespie. Now let's see. Solar return chart for 11 degrees Taurus, 2 minutes. Double check me, please, because I'm pretty sure we've been going past 90 minutes. There's no brain in here anymore. This is, in fact, a solar return for my location for Tracy. All right. So this then gets the sun that has been since April of 2025, taking a look at this 7th house energy with a ruler of Mars up at the top of your chart. Mars not happy being at the top of the chart, but in Leo at the top of the chart for this set of sunglasses is saying it's got to be visibility, it's got to be courage, it's got to have that, come on, you can do it, get up there in the spotlight kind of way, right? But let's look at the one that happens for 2026 for that solar return. This one brings the energy to the 4th house. Oh, and this one's also, look at you with this full moon. We got people with like full moon solar returns happening. I'm kind of into this. It's not quite, this is not quite a full moon. This one is almost, but this is definitely something that we would look at in this solar return chart. Again, this is a solar return for my location. And this is going to give chart ruler for this set of sunglasses of Saturn, and that's in this big cluster of 3rd house energy. Oh, and that Saturn and Mars together, that you're going to have that even if we do a subsidiary chart to your location. But it's in 3rd house matters specifically for this solar return chart coming up in 2026, and that's going to mean neighborhood, siblings, and also things like social media or newsletter, stuff that you're doing to keep up with blogging, vlogging, whatever it is that gets you in touch with people in your local communication and education kind of realm. But the sun very much in hanging out alone in that 4th house for the solar return chart from me in my location. Let's again take it back to the one that's current. 7th house for, again, my location says dealing with partnership stuff, and a solar return ruler of Mars up at the top of the chart saying we're working on some career stuff. But so now let's go back to the recently used birth chart that we were first looking at, and then that solar return chart, which was in fact created as a solar return chart, that putting it in the same house overlay, and this one being for your location, not my location. With this one looking at the solar return by itself, we get that energy of the 5th house and play, fun. Yes, we do love that. But with it being co-present with Uranus, that is also going to mean a little reckless, a little not anxious, but a little nervous system relationship to it. But you've been having that for a while. You've been experiencing that for a while because of Uranus being in Taurus for years and years and going over your sun. Certainly you felt that moment. No question about that. But so you tell me, because I know, first of all, forgetting the crap out. Sorry again about that. But let's looking at the parts of it that are happening for you. Is there a difference in how you feel about the one that's based in your location, the one that's based in my location, the one that is like, because it's seeing it all as an overlay to your natal chart? How does that work? Okay. Yes. Okay. Lacking that energy, trying to get it back. Aries here, pulling energy, pulling focus. VO, right? Come on now. I know. I kind of love that. It's like Aries is so good to me in so many ways because it'll go, hey, pay attention to me. But that was a comedy of errors. I do apologize for that. I know. I hope I didn't make it too confusing by continuing on with that, but hopefully I reset it and got it in some places that make sense. I know. This is why I don't do long live streams. I am always amazed at, oh my God, the Astrology podcast. Like I'll go to think I want to watch one of their episodes, and then it's like 4 hours long, and I go, I know y'all took breaks in there, but I can't even. So much. I really try to serve Virgo and Pisces placements, Vio. Don't even. Don't even. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. I love it. I love it. Lacking in that energy, trying to get it back. And I think that might have been about when I was looking at the Not Your chart. They are so different. It's hard to say. I also have Mars as my Time Lord this year, so it's interesting. So Mars as your Time Lord this year, and looking at the solar return chart that was for your location. Again, I don't have this superimposed on your chart, which I can do, but let's just look at the solar return chart for your location. It puts Mars in a dark house. And so as your Time Lord, we're kind of layering on timing techniques by doing this. Your Time Lord for this year is Mars. And in your solar return chart, it's in a dark house. So how does it behave? It's still doing it from a courageous place. It's still doing it from a place of how do I lead? Because Leo. But when we take a look at your birth chart, and what is your Mars condition in your birth chart, it needs that. It needs that favor, because being in a Mars ruled year with a natal Mars in Cancer, and I know you and I share this, it's not happy. It's not comfy. It does not like acting. A natal Mars in Cancer would prefer not ever to act, because it doesn't have access to its tools. It's really confused about how its role is to take action, and it doesn't matter if it hurts people, not in a casual way, but in a part of taking action is you look later at what the fallout is. And Cancer's like, I'm always looking first at what the potential fallout is. That's what Cancer does, is make sure everybody's safe. And Mars is like, I don't know how to operate like that, which means when we do take action, we've got this Cancer Mars that then goes, should I regret that? Should I feel bad? Do I need to do repair for the harm that I've done? It's a really sticky situation. So, but this is where we take a look at, for your profected ruler, your Time Lord being Mars, I don't know, your solar return Mars is in better shape than your natal one. So can we borrow from that energy? And this is where I say, of course we can. Of course we can borrow from that energy, because you get all these charts. You also get your astro relocated chart. You also get the one that's done for where your astrologer is at the moment, which is Santa Monica. You get, all of these things are true simultaneously. And that's one of the reasons that astrology is never done. We are never finished with the conversation, because we can take a look at it through so many different house systems and so many different timing techniques and so many different relocations, and all of these things are simultaneously true. And while there are people who are purists who are going to go, nope, that one that Bonnie said could work doesn't, except for the place where I was just looking at an Aries chart and not a Taurus chart, they're not wrong. They're just different options. And this is where I say, what's wrong with looking at different options and seeing which one feels like the one I'm accessing the most? I like to take a look at, for all of the different ways that we can see astrology, which one gives me access to tools the way I need to use them right now. And then I lean into that, because I know that I'm living my natal chart as it is looked at in all the different ways. And everything that happens from the moment we're born is just activating something in the natal chart. So no matter what it is, a solar return chart, a profected chart, a progressed chart, a astro relocated chart, any of these and more, all they are, transits of the now, are opportunities to activate things in our natal chart. And that is our promise as souls coming into these temporary skin suits. Being in this temporary human form, we are specifically being given opportunities to connect with our natal chart with every single one of these different interpretations and activations. Same with numerology, which we didn't even layer onto this at all. But that's something, as we're coming up on the end of the year, I will be doing a numerology webinar, live stream, both, not sure. Save the date for November 22nd. That is going to be my annual year ahead webinar. That one's November 22nd at 11 a.m. Pacific. I will be doing my year ahead webinar. And that one is always really word I'm looking for. I started to say positive. popular. That one is always really popular. I was like, I know I'm starting that word right, but that is, popular? Yes, it's always really popular, the year ahead one. We'll be doing that on the 22nd of November, but we'll also hopefully have it being positive. I like looking at the positive interpretation of astrology because there's already enough in the actual world that is a dick in the dirt sometimes. So give me what in my toolbox allows me to access things that may be easier for me than they were in my natal chart. And maybe that does represent part of what I've learned in living my chart all these years. And if you're like, nope, it's always the same, it's always hard, ask yourself if there's another interpretation you could look at that would give you just a different pair of sunglasses. And could you consider what that different color lenses offers you? Maybe. Oh, good. I'm glad this was awesome. Out of bounds in the natal chart, Tracy. No rules. No rules. Out of bounds in the natal chart means no rules. You get to learn and make those rules as you live. So cool to look at it all. Thank you for spending so much of your time and energy with us. It was my pleasure. I really enjoy these. I really do. As long as this went, I really love doing these. And I love being able to do some hot seat stuff too. It's really fun. So glad, so glad. You're amazing. This is awesome. This blew my mind. Didn't realize how different natal versus solar return charts could be. Thank you for sharing what you are taking away from this with me. I really like knowing what your takeaways are. Thank you so much also for giving me current year snapshot and peek into 2026 solar return. Huge perspective. Yeah. I don't like looking ahead too much, but your birthday is close enough now, that we're more than halfway toward it. I kind of like, are we? Oh, not yet. I did give you an advance look. I did. But, we're now in Scorpio season. So like looking ahead to even anything in Aries season, I'd say that's fair game. That's fair game. But looking too far ahead, I don't know. We can get in the weeds about it. What I noticed when I was doing the planet planner and making custom versions for everyone is that I would experience the woo weather that they were going to be having with their birth changes and shifts, and I found that to be a little too activating, so I had to stop doing those. And I'm like, well, then don't do it so far out in the future, because maybe that's part of what is like, because the woo weather of the future is a lot. Not surprising anyone. Relish your positivity, but also that you acknowledge the challenges always, because like head in the sand, let's don't look at the challenges. That's not reality. We are going to, I like to say I do pragmatic woo. I'm going to look at what is actually challenging, and then do you have the tools to deal with it? And if not, where can we go to get those? Remember, my big thing's chart harmony. I want us to do planetary remediation to connect with the parts of our chart that do allow us to do things better than we may believe we have the ability to do them. And it's just a matter of them practicing a muscle that might be harder for us to access in our natal chart, but we can still access it. Like I'm wearing black to help me remember structure, Daddy Saturn, but I clearly did not ask Daddy Saturn to help me time manage today. Can I lean into Daddy Saturn to help me time manage? Of course I can, but I got to remember going in that that's something that I want to do. So definitely, we all have these tools. Good. I'm glad you loved it. I'm glad. Okay, good. I'm glad that sharing charts helps you see others and like kind of practice different perspective shifts, all that. That really helps. Good. Yeah, solar return year will happen on your brother's natal birthday. I love that. Yeah, future year enough. Yeah. Oh my God, y'all are 2 years and 364 days apart. Twinsies! Have to do more chart harmony moons and your planet course. Yes. Let's plan on that. Come back on the 4th of November when I'm going to give you some actual homework assignment stuff, and then maybe there will be something that we can do together. Like I said, I'm going to come up with like a little mini offer that is hopefully affordably priced to the point where you could just come in and get a little guidance with what I want you to do to access the most magic in your chart for the year, because it's a year of homework that I'm going to be asking y'all to do. 13 months. I did use a purple pen. That's it. You called it. And also, right before this live stream, let me show y'all what I did. I wanted to put a thumbnail on my Astro reframes. Can you see this top corner of my screen? because it just looked like a folder, and I don't like them to just look like folders. And so one of the things that I learned how to do in the very beginning of my time using an Apple computer was how to go into the info of a folder and change the folder into an image. And I still do it the same way I did in the 90s when that feature became available. And I mean early 90s. I went in and made the folder an actual image of Jupiter as caught from the it's not James Woods. Is it James Woods? It might be James Woods. James Woods. What the hell is the telescope? The JWST. Yeah, I used Jupiter. It's like I was asking for it. Looking forward to the replay of 11/4. Yes, we will do some lunar magic. Good. Looking forward to November's streams. Me too. Me too. Going to be too wrapped up to interrupt for live. Totally fine. I got you. I got you. I know. I did the Jupiter. It's me. I called Jupiter in. I did it. I know. Don't you want to do that? James Webb. James Webb. So not Woods, but I did get enough right. Good job. Good job. And went almost 2 hours. All right. I gotta go. I love you, beautiful people, but I could hang out forever because you're in the chat active and I'm like loving this. I needed this. So thank you for what you helped me access today. I so appreciate y'all. Those watching in replay, please make sure to use that comments area. Tell me what I can do for you. I am happy to take a look at what you've got and give you some positive shades, reframes around whatever it is that's going on. I will see you next week, November 4th, Tuesday. Vote. Make sure you vote. If you're in a place that's having elections, we are going to be actually doing our vote by mail early, or drop box. We're going to like vote and then drop and make sure it goes in the right place and all that stuff. But vote. Yes on 50. California, wherever you are, do the right things. New York, you got a big one, I know. But anyway, I could keep talking. We are going to be live streaming about your lunar medicine. I got moon rituals for everybody. It's going to be so much fun. I'm very excited. All right. I got to go. I got to stop looking at what's in the chat because it's too much fun and I can't. I got to stop. All right. I love you, beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.